if you're not a skilled Yu-Gi-Oh player, you probably don't know the term.
I gotta be honest, man. I don't know if I'll ever be able to look at Dragon Maze the same. Like,
that was terrible. Because I had like multiple Vanguard Zero accounts. I broke TOS for streaming purposes, just so I can be like, yeah, I'm gonna have like a 700 plus pack opening stream. Because back then, getting gems and stuff was stupid easy.
Because I'm like, I still do it now to an extent, but I remember like every call, we would end and I'd be like, hey, are you mad at me? And you're like, what? No. And I'm like, are you sure? And you're like, I'm gonna be mad at you if you keep fucking asking. So, I got an email from the Davis Win via Twitter.
An email? You mean a message?
It's from the...
We were looking at... You were telling me about this Dragon Maid tweet, and then we went
down a terrifying rabbit hole.
So much. I'm gonna regret that so much, but I brought that up because I had found this Dragon Maid tidying trap card that's flipped and mirrored, and also you see my webcam. But yeah,
hey, we have the same
it's only
one.
A rare. We do have the same one.
Yeah, wow, look at that.
Yeah, but it's only a rare, but it's still a pretty good card.
Does it
for
show
Dragon Maids.
On the card that it's a rare?
You can just tell based on like the foiling of it. So I think with Yu-Gi-Oh, if if it's just the card and nothing's shiny, it's like a common. If it's a rare, then like the words will be kind of shiny. I don't know if you can tell.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit reflective. I think super rares, the picture will be shiny, but not the words. And then ultra rares, the words and the picture will be shiny. And then there's also secret rare. I think that one's like a different foiling effect. But yeah, it's not like Pokemon or Vanguard where it tells you what rarity it is. I don't know. Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I like the design of Yu-Gi-Oh cards because they're so simple. It's really just like text, picture, text.
Yeah, no, I want to get. We were talking about it the other day, but I want to get some Yu-Gi-Oh cards to display.
Yeah, me too. I like.
You got two blue eyes upstairs.
Yeah, I had opened some. Also, this is the sleeve I'm using. It's like the Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl, so that's pretty cool.
Nice.
So I had opened this box that Kay had gotten me for I think Christmas, and there's just 3 packs inside, and that was in one of the packs, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But yeah, I want to get some, not like a box to like open packs and stuff and look for the cards, but buy directly just like a few of the cards that I want, specifically Dragon Maid, not because I'm wanting to get waifus or whatever. It's just the deck that I've been using in Master Duel, and it's a pretty good deck.
Yeah, I wanna get some 6 Samurai cards, get my waifus on the wall.
Dude, we came across
is there any waifus in 6 Samurai? I guess Fuma, but
I don't know if you.
I picked a terrible deck.
We came across that YouTube video that showed like someone getting to platinum with like a quote unquote toxic 6 Samurai deck.
Quick backstory for that. I got into Duel Links like 3 months ago, or 2 months ago, something like that, late November. And
has it really been like only 2-3 months?
Yeah, it was late November.
Yeah, because you played Inscription in like October-ish.
No, it was November. It was late November. It was November 26th to be specific. I don't know why I know that, but anyway, I basically, I don't even know how I found 6 Samurai. I think I just wanted a Samurai deck because Samurai are cool, and I built that deck, and then it was the first like meta, not really meta deck, like competitive deck, I guess, that I had built.
It's pretty good, yeah.
And then I spelled illusions wrong. Sorry. Anyway, I built that deck, and then it was pretty solid, especially for what it was in Duel Links. And then Master Duel came out, and then I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm gonna build that deck again. And then I did. I think I opened up the master packs, and then I happened to get one of the 6 Samurai stuff, and I was like, well, if I happen to have the secret pack, I might as well open it up. So I did, and then I could build, and I built like a so-so, like actually not even so-so. I built a terrible 6 samurai deck. It didn't even have Shien in it, which is like the big like that's your main guy. I had great Shogun Shien, which I didn't have in Duel Links, and I had like Shien's Chancellor or Counselor or something like that. And I was like, oh, this is pretty solid. And then I was using it in competitive. Actually, that was the first deck or in ranked. And then I got to like silver 3 or 4, and I hit a wall because I was just getting my ass kicked then. And then
I think it was like at that time you switched over to Mayakashi, right?
Yes.
Just about.
I think. Because I think how it went is I used 6 samurai until like late silver, and then I got pushed back to bronze for season 2, and then I used Mayakashi, and then I built my way back.
Oh, that's right. You used Mayakashi like season 2.
I used Mayakashi for most of season 2. Like I got through all of silver and most of gold with Mayakashi, and then now I'm using Sky Strikers, and you sent me that video on it, and I the only reason I went through with building or finishing that 6 samurai deck was because I literally had all of the foundation for it. I just needed some of the extra deck stuff, and most of them are cards you can throw in with other decks, which is another reason why I was like, okay, because it's not just this is specific for 6 samurai. It helps, but I can use this for other decks if I want to build something later. So I did it, and I haven't used it in ranked yet. I've only used it in solo. And in solo, it's pretty solid. I bricked last night for the first time, so I know what a brick looks like now. Basically, if I pull Great Shogun Shien and a bunch of spell cards, I literally can't do anything.
There you go.
So it's not impossible to get around, and I've misplayed a lot because there's like slight things that can go wrong, and they usually do. Because I just don't know the deck, but also it takes so long. I was setting up once. Granted, I stopped to think a little bit, but I was watching an episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and they're 20 minutes long. So I started the episode, and just around the same time I started the match, and it was turn 1, and I was trying to get set up, and I had to think because I was like, okay, if I do this, then I could probably because the main goal is to get number 86 on the field, and then you're basically fine. And I already had that card, which is another reason why I went through with it. I don't know where I got him from, but anyway. So yeah, and by the time I had gotten set up, I had number 86 on the board. I had 2 Shiens. I had a really solid board, but it took the entire episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine to get it set up. So thank fuck for his solo doesn't have a time limit. Yeah. So again, I took my time with it, but I'm like, even if I knew exactly what I was doing, because it's like, depending on what your hand is, usually you can, it just depends if it could be easier or harder to get to that final stage. But there's been times where I will mess up and I don't get to number 86, so that I'm left with like still pretty decent cards on the board, but not that one guy, so he can't wall. So I can't necessarily wall anything, but I can still survive, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's a good deck. I honestly feel kind of bad using it. I'm like kind of nervous about using it because I'm like, well, it's one of those things that I'm like, it is a toxic deck. Like this, it's a deck that's like, it takes forever to set up, and it's not even like, because like 2 Shiens on the board, you can't Raigeki. And even if you do, and then it's like, if you Raigeki, then you follow it up with like a lightning storm. Well, then I got another thing to block you with. So it's like, and then there's other cards in the field that can negate shit. So like overall, the other player can't really do much. So it is one of those things that takes forever to set up, and then when they finally do get set up, they like I basically just
I think that's a lot of like negate boards. So like the Herald of Ultimateness or Perfection, whichever one you prefer. With Drytrons, I feel like I've seen them brick once, but they're usually pretty consistent. Them, and then also Tri Brigade, their Zodiac, I guess. They're all pretty consistent in getting their boards out. And then they get their negates and stuff out pretty consistently. But then with 6 Samurai, I feel like it could easily be stopped. But then with Drytron, I think you could probably have a play around it. Because I think I remember my opponent only had like one card in their hand, and they were able to bounce back with just that one card.
Yeah, like it depends on, like when I fought you
Like-
with it, you were able to wall it pretty easily. So it's like, I
also went first, so
that is true. I think it also doesn't help that I don't really know what I'm doing yet. Like, I'm starting to get a feel for the deck, and I know what the final goal looks like. It's just getting there that I have
I mean,
to...
you're a platinum tiered player now.
You gotta,
aren't
but
ya?
you gotta think. It's like playing 4D chess. Like, you gotta really, because it's like, okay, I send this guy to the graveyard now. Do I want him in the graveyard for later when I get this guy out? Because I also have a bad habit of getting too many cards in the field, and then I screw myself over for when I get Battle Shogun, because then I don't have a card to put back down when I have Gateway, so then I get stopped right there by my own stupidity.
Yeah.
So it's confusing as hell. But anyway, it's a fun deck.
Have you been playing the XC's festival event?
No, I have not touched it actually.
It's actually, I would definitely recommend starting on it or playing it. And if you have spare gems, I would also maybe get one of the structure decks. They have a new structure deck that's like for Galaxy Eyes, or
Yeah.
I guess technically it's called Cypher. But you can either get that one or like the Utopia one. But basically, you get medals based on like if you win or lose, and they actually changed some of the amount of medals you can win recently, because there was like a loophole, right, where people would only build decks that would just kill themselves. So they would do damage to themselves, and then that way they can get through the match faster, and then get to the next match, do it again, and then just farm as fast as possible. But what Konami did literally this morning or today was they were like, okay, so we're gonna up the incentive to win, so we're gonna boost the amount of medals you get when you win, and then we'll keep, I think they kept the losing medals the same, so you're actually not gonna get there faster than if you were to just win now. So more people are incentivized to win,
So
and that's great.
That means the people with the losing decks are helping the other, or the kill themselves deck are helping people, the other guy.
Yeah, they help them win. Yeah. It's just, I think some people are kind of frustrated because there are some missions that are like you have to activate spell cards or activate trap cards, but some people some people don't even get the chance to put down a card because they just kill themselves turn 1, or I guess the start of turn 2 sometimes. So it's like, and it also the frustration of not being able to play at all, and just like having been wasted like a few minutes, I guess, when you probably would have wanted to have an actual match. I know some people want to find glory in winning like the real way.
Well, that's the thing is,
but I don't mind because it's free medals.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I was gonna say. I completely forgot what I was gonna talk about.
But yeah, the medal things, it's pretty cool because every like 100 medals you get either some the legacy pack tickets, or you get like some odd number of gems, so like 100 or maybe 200 or 120, and then at some point it increases from 100 to 200, so you gotta win more matches. But either way, like if you win a match with like a loner deck that they provide, like after the update, now you get 250 medals, right? And then with your own deck, you get 500. So that means you get like at the beginning you get like 5 rewards at once. So you clear it so fast.
So does that count if you use a structure deck? Oh my god, my voice is cracked. Does it count if you use a structure deck? Does that count as your deck?
Yeah, so if you buy a structure deck from the shop and then you enter as your own deck, it counts. Granted, you're probably not going to win, but you're still going to get, if you use your own deck, you're going to get more gems, you're going to get more medals, regardless if you win or lose, than if you were to use a loner deck. Oh, I guess if you win with a loner deck, you'd probably get more than if you lose with your own deck. But,
I feel like, at least for what the cards I have, I feel like if I wanted to actually build an appear in an Xyz summoning deck, I would probably use 6 Samurai, because it's very easy to get 2 level 3s or 2 level 4s in the field. But
yeah, that's true. I went ahead and I got the Galaxy Eyes structure deck. I was like, this is, probably the coolest looking one because I like dragons. So I used that, right? I got my butt whooped. Like I don't think I won a single one except for the self OTK decks. And then I was like, okay, so let me look at my deck and let me see what I can take out. So the archetype, Cypher, it's okay. There some of the cards are like if you have a Cypher Xyz monster on the board or blah blah Xyz monster. I was like, okay, I haven't even been getting my Xyz monster on the board. So instead of relying on this Cypher strategy, let me just switch over to like the Galaxy Eyes strategy, which is almost like Blue Eyes. Because they both have 3,000 attack, 2,500 defense. So they have almost like the same I bring out strong dragon, I win sort of niche, except, this one's more Xyz heavy. And then they also have
extra effects.
They have a variant that's like, what's up?
Do they have extra effects? Because Blue Eyes, we were talking about the other day.
Yeah, so the Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, which I guess would be the equivalent to Blue Eyes, has an effect that's like when it battles, you can banish it and the opponent's monster until like I think that either the end phase or the end of the battle phase, and then you bring them back. And then if the opponent had like an Xyz monster that was banished, then you can get rid of the materials, and then Photon Dragon gets like a power boost from that. So that's pretty cool. Which I guess one ups Blue Eyes White Dragon. But then also like there's so many like Xyz monsters for Galaxy Eyes that there's like one where it, boosts its attack, or like there's one that can destroy a card in the field, destroy a face-up monster in the field, or face-up card, I meant to say. So like there's a lot of Xyz monsters that Galaxy Eyes can get into. But I guess the difference between that and like Blue Eyes is like Blue Eyes, they focus more on getting like their vanilla Blue Eyes White Dragon, or like I guess most people play like that ritual monster, the Chaos Max Dragon.
Yeah, that guy's a bit of
so they go more towards that route, and then I guess like they throw an alternative. But then Galaxy Eyes, they circle around like a bunch of high level monsters. So like they have like a level 5 called Galaxy Soldier that can special summon itself by pitching a card, or they have like I think it's some level 8 Galaxy Warrior or something, or Galaxy Knight that can normal summon itself without having to tribute, even though it's like a level 8. So you can have like Photon Dragon, and then you can have the Galaxy Knight, whatever, and you can Xyz right away. So it's a lot easier to get out your big monsters with. They're both pretty easy to get their boss monsters out, but I think Galaxy Eyes gets there a little bit more efficiently, because like with Blue Eyes, it's like you probably have to search for it, or maybe you use like White Son of Ancients.
Yeah, it's
or
crazy
White Son
how
of Legend.
It's crazy how non-threatening Blue Eyes is now. I see a Blue Eyes deck, and I'm like, all right, cool.
But then Galaxy Eyes has I don't know if it's slightly better or if it's just about the same, but they have quite a few ways to search out Photon Dragon. So unless you brick, there's like no way you can't get Photon Dragon. And also, instead of tribute summoning Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, it's like a level 8. You can special summon it by tributing two monsters with 2,000 or more attack. So there's a card that special summons 2 tokens, and then right after that you can special summon Photon Dragon after that without having to, and you've yet to normal summon. So after that you can like maybe normal summon your Galaxy Knight, and then there you have 2 level 8s that you can use to Xyz summon into whatever Galaxy Eyes Xyz monster you want, and then you almost win. But there are ways around it.
That's quite the setup.
Yeah.
I haven't played the thing yet. I did a little bit of the Lightsworn solo stuff. I
thought that was pretty fun,
just to get the gems and stuff. Lightsworn is actually pretty cool.
I got to the part where you go, or where you get to play with like the Starry Night deck. That one was pretty cool. They're part of the cards that go along with like the Dragon Maid secret pack. And at first I was like, I don't really understand this archetype, so I'll just like get rid of it. But then when I was playing with it in the in the solo stuff, I was like, oh, this deck's actually pretty cool because Starry Night Dragon, like the main guy that's on the cover of the secret pack, he I think when you summon him, you get to target a card on the field and banish it. And then there's a trap card that says once per turn, you can either take a card, put it back, or take a level 7 dragon monster on the field, return it to the hand, or special summon one from your hand to the field. Right? So either you can save your dragon for protection, or sorry, you can protect your dragon from destruction, or you can summon it onto the field to get rid of something. So it's kind of Wimbo Bambo-y, just kind of like Gravekeepers in a sense, where you can get itself on and off the field.
Have we ever explained?
They're also
I just
pretty
realized,
decently strong.
Have we ever explained Wimbo Bambo?
Oh no, I guess not.
Because it's just been stuff we've been saying. Because a while ago we used to play Duel Links. I say, oh god, I sound such a like. No, when we played Duel Links, and it was the first time you used
Gravekeepers?
I think it was Gravekeepers. I said something like Wimbo Bambo Alakazam. I take the card out of your hand or some shit like that. And ever since then, I just kept saying Wimbo Bambo.
It's just our term now.
For cards getting destroyed off the field, I guess. I don't know. Wimbo Bambo just sounds way funnier. So, anyway. That's what that is. I just realized that we've been saying that for the last little bit, and I don't think I've ever I don't think I've ever explained it. But there you go. The official, you can put that in the Yu-Gi-Oh dictionary. Wimbo Bambo.
Wimbo Bambo. It's a term.
So,
if you're not a skilled Yu-Gi-Oh player, you probably don't know the term.
I'm a skilled Yu-Gi-Oh player.
You know what's funny? I actually hit Plat 3. I'm in Plat 3 now, which is pretty good. I had whatever I was on, I don't know, I was just destroying my opponents. I drew like the best hands, I was negating everything, I was popping off. I made one misplay, but I was able to bounce back from that. But yeah, it felt so good to have. I have a 8-game win streak now. It feels so good. Yeah. So it was like the 4 games from going from Plat 5 to Plat 4, and then another 4 games going from 4 to 3. So now I have a 8-game win streak now. I'm afraid to lose it, because I'm almost in the Plat 2, Plat 1 territory where it's going to get even more dangerous.
Yeah.
Even then, they like match me up with like people in Plat 1 or people in Plat 5.
If you get to Platinum 1, are you gonna be on the Master Duel meta now? Will I be able to copy your deck list?
I think regardless, you'd be able. I mean, I guess you can say what tier you're in, but most people just post their deck list when they hit like platinum. I don't think there's a specific like thing, but I mean, I could post my deck list, but also it's not like the best deck list. If anything, there's a term called net decking, and a lot of people, or not a lot of people, but there are some concerns with like taking someone's deck online and then just merely copying it and using that. I don't mind. Like for if you're learning a deck, I don't mind net decking. But of course, when you go to play with it yourself, you start to realize, when you try to net deck, right? I try to use most of the cards that they have, and then whatever I don't have, I just throw in like substitutions. So like instead of Forbidden Droplet, I use Forbidden Chalice, and then instead of like some spell destruction, whatever, I use like Mystical Space Typhoon that's like in the structure deck. So I have like budget alternatives, right? So it's not like exact, but just like whenever I'm testing it, whatever I feel like needs to be swapped out, needs to be put in, I do that afterwards. So like I learn the deck by net decking, like, oh, I understand why you need 2 copies of Shiyu, for example. Sometimes Shiyu gets put in the graveyard and now you have no way to recur her back. Actually, you have Tiding, but sometimes like one Shiyu isn't enough and you want that second one just in case they banish Shiyu or something. Because Dragon Maidens does not have a way to get cards that are banished back into the graveyard or whatever. So you're pretty much screwed at that point. So maybe a second Shiyu wouldn't be too bad. Or a second house Dragon Maid. At the very least. Or if you run 2 of like the spheres, the heavenly spheres, the Link monster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the one that like bounces back a face-up card on the field. That one, I understand why you need 2. It's a pretty good card. So net decking kind of helps you learn like why people build it that way. You know, like this is the most consistent way, and a lot of people have built it with this foundation because it's consistent. But then when you go to play with it, sometimes you learn, okay, this card doesn't really see use that much, so I'm going to take it out. Or I could probably throw this card in because it feels like my card doesn't have enough negates. So let's say, like, going back to Dragon Mates, let's say you're a budget-friendly option, you're building like a budget-friendly deck. You only have one Dragon Maid Shiyu and maybe two House Dragon Maids, you know? Just in case you have one on the field, and then, you know, Shiyu gets bounced back to the deck, so now you still have one Shiyu, one House Dragon Maid, so you can do it again, right? So let's say you have that. And then... Shoot, I forgot where I was going with this. Budget-friendly option. I'm so sorry. I forgot where I was going with that.
That's fine. Budget-friendly option for Shiyu. Did you put Blue Eyes in Dragon Maid?
No, it would not. Absolutely not.
Why not? I gotta be honest, man. I don't know if I'll ever be able to look at Dragon Maid the same.
Like... That was terrible. Oh my gosh. I wish they had covered those up or something. Like, hey, this post might not be for you, but you know how
what's crazy is that Twitter will put a block being like, hey, this contains sensitive material. Are you sure you want to watch it or look at this? When it's like a meme. But they won't do it for shit like that. And I'm like, my virgin eyes.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I need to gouge them out.
I broke character in front of Matthew for that. I have an ongoing thing where I try not to curse in front of Matthew. And I've done it twice now. First time was playing Legends Arceus.
Wait. You don't curse in front of... Do you curse in front of other people?
I'm a normal person, Matthew. Of course I curse. I mean, I try not to say it so much, because I don't need to. But sometimes it just comes out. I
was under the assumption. All right, backstory. Because like years ago when we first met, I was like, because I was like, I was kind of like, this guy doesn't swear like ever. And then it was like, all right, he's a family friendly dude. And then
on YouTube, yeah.
And then one day you were talking about something, and you said bitch, and I was like, oh my god, he said a bad word.
We were talking about a someone,
and you were like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. That was like, oh my god, I can't believe I just said that. And I was like, I am shooketh. And then we were playing Legends Arceus. Hadn't heard this guy swear in years. We're just casually, and then he like misses a Pokeball or something. He's like, fuck. And I was like, it was like, did I even hear that correctly?
Oh,
so I was, and then I felt like I had to swear more to make up for it. It was the weirdest thing ever, because I'm like, again, I don't hear this guy swear ever.
And then this morning, Matthew was telling me about this tweet that he saw about Dragon Maids. I was curious and I went to look for it. And then I was looking through all the Dragon Maid related tweets.
Yeah, you couldn't find it, and I was like, all right, do I have to go look for this? So I typed in Dragon Maid into Twitter, and what a mistake that was.
That was terrible. I can't unsee that. That's terrible. Please don't look at Dragon Maid stuff.
Don't.
Please.
Just... So that deck is ruined forever. I will never...
It's so fun, though. Man, I really wish I could remember what I was talking about. Wow, I think I just rambled for the first time ever.
Wow, but the first time ever. It's the most amount of words I've heard you speak in like 6 months, but
yeah, I told Matthew, I was like, I'm gonna be talking a lot about one thing, and it's Yu-Gi-Oh, because it's the only thing I've been playing. I've put down Legends Arceus for a little bit because I've been playing with Kay. But yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh has just been like the deck that I've been playing with.
What? The game you've been playing?
Sorry, I was thinking about my Dragon Maid deck.
Dragon Maids.
I think I remember. Okay, so I was talking about net decking and how, like, obviously you're not going to have, 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Maxi, the full foundation, right? But let's say you have like a budget option that runs like maybe 1 Shiyu and 2 House Dragon Maid. Then you can see from there, like, okay, because I only have 1 Shiyu, I probably need something else that can help me negate. So then you can throw stuff in that's, you might already have, like Solemn Judgment, which is like an Omni Negate. And then also like probably something that can get rid of or target and get rid of stuff like Paleozoic Dinomischus. It's a trap card that when you activate it, you can discard a card, target a card on the field, and banish it, right? So there are cards that you can throw in that are budget friendly that can help you if you are missing cards from a deck that you're trying to play with, I guess.
Yeah, I'm definitely guilty of.
That's the point where I was going to, and I'm glad I remembered it.
Glad it came back. Yeah, I'm definitely guilty of net decking. I remember in Duel Links, I was like, oh man, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to try building a deck that I build that's good, and I built desk bots.
You built desk bots.
What a fucking mess that was. I beat you once, but it was by like the shittiest way possible because I had some it's like some vampire guy.
The vampire.
It's like Blood Misfit, something along those lines, where basically I just synchro summon him out. He had like pretty low HP. So or LP, whatever. I sent him out, and then it's like does damage based on how many spells you have or whatever.
Hey, that was a smart move, right?
And then I won that way. But yeah, Deskbots. Like I had a bunch of Deskbot cards, and I was like, I'm never gonna build a deck with this. Well, then I was like,
being like a budget. I say budget. I mean like being a player who doesn't have all of the cards necessary to build a full deck. You kind of get creative because you start throwing in cards that are like, okay, I don't have this, but maybe I could use this instead. I would have never thought you had that vampire synchro monster in your extra deck, and then you bring it out, and I'm like, okay, well, I lose.
Yeah,
I thought I was gonna live.
It was just such a mess because the reason I gravitated towards synchros was because it's the easiest to understand. It's just 1 + 7 =
math.
8. It's just like, okay, I have a level 2 tuner, so I need to have a bunch of monsters that can make a level 8 or whatever the fuck.
I think the hardest thing is like getting out a tuner and a non-tuner, because sometimes it's always the other way around. It's either 2 tuners or 2 non-tuners.
And that was the nice thing about Deskbot was that it was easy to get enough cards in the field to summon some stuff from the extra deck. So for my first try at throwing some crap together, it was decent. And it did okay against solo mode. I'm actually tempted to play Duel Links after this and try that deck again because I haven't touched it in a long time.
Yeah, I haven't touched Duel Links in a while either. It's not that I wanted to. I have a pretty good Blue Eyes deck, a pretty good trap deck, the Toxic Trap deck.
I hate that deck so much. Actually, yeah, that deck exists. I don't feel so bad about building super angry, mean. I will say, I think I would feel worse if I used 6 Samurai against you and it absolutely obliterated you. But the fact that I barely scraped out a win that one time, I didn't feel as bad.
Yeah.
But I'm a little nervous to use it in competitive.
No, I'd rather that than Herald of Ultimateness, because at the very least I can stop your number 75, the one that moves its materials over. At least you could probably stop that, or stop a summon, or I could probably Ash Blossom you or something. I'm sure there's something I could do.
If you have MST,
the same could be said as well. Yeah, you only have one gateway of the 6, so if I get rid of that,
and there's no way to add it, there's no way to add it back to the hand.
Yeah, so there are ways around it. So it's not nearly as bad. So the thing about number 86, the Rongo whatever,
I have no idea how to say his name.
It's a lot of setup, but it rewards you, right? It rewards you for doing all that setup.
Yeah.
But the thing with Herald of Ultimateness is you are able to get it out pretty early, right? Your only setup is just getting fairy type monsters in your hand. So the Cyber Angel 1010, who when you tribute her, you can just grab a fairy from your deck. So you can just do it over and over again. Or there's a level 1 Ava or something.
Oh god.
Evangelion. She looks kind of like an alien, kind of. But she can also she also does stuff like that. But yeah, so those decks are more annoying.
Yeah.
I'd say.
No, Herald of Ultimate, I have such PTSD from. I beat it once, kind of, with Sky Strikers. That's the deck I used to get to Platinum, by the way. Was Sky Strikers, and I do like that deck. That deck is still pretty fun.
It has answers. It's not like the strongest. It's not going to win turn 1, but it's definitely.
I will say I was playing that deck very wrong because I hit a wall with gold, and I was like, man, I hate Master Duel, because it was so frustrating because like, I can't win, and then I realized how poorly I was playing.
You watched me right after that. You had watched me like get destroyed by Sky Strikers because they used multi-roll, which
Which
makes it to where I won't be able to respond to spells.
Yeah, it's a card that I was like, okay, this is not really all that useful. And then I saw it decimate you, and then was like, all right.
And then also the equip spell. I had no idea what the equip spell did. I net decked a Sky Striker deck. I saw that card. I was like, I tried to use it, and I was like, this card kind of sucks. But then I saw the other person use it. I was like, oh, this card's good.
Yeah, Sky Strikers is the only thing I didn't net deck. That I just threw in. I just opened the Sky Striker pack, put in every Sky Striker card I had. My voice just cracked.
That kind of makes sense though.
And that I know, but still, that's close as I've gotten to not net decking. Besides that crap Duel Links, I just
it's like Sky Striker stuff plus like Ash Blossom Maxi hand traps basically. So you can play like so many hand traps and like other stuff because Sky Strikers is just its own little archetype. You pretty much don't need anything else. Some people have gotten to platinum with like throwing an Eldritch in there because there's a lot of spells and traps, just spells and Sky Striker that Eldritch could probably take advantage of. But at the same time, you don't need that. Man, beating an Eldritch player is so satisfying.
I've done it, and it is pretty.
It's so satisfying when they are able to. I think their effects are once per turn, so that they try to send itself and then another card from your hand to the graveyard, blah blah blah, and then grab something from the graveyard, blah blah blah, back to your hand. I don't know exactly how Eldritch works, but they were able to summon Eldritch from their hand like each turn. So, they kept having a 3500 beater on the board. But, I was using, of course, Dragon Mates. And then I found a way to, just pick them off one by one. So, yes, they do reset their traps and so forth. But I was able to get rid of each of their Eldritches to the point where, they couldn't really do much. Because each time they went to the battle phase, my Dragon Mates would just destroy their Eldritches. And then when it was my turn, I would just destroy their Eldritches again. So I was able to build my board while they were struggling to keep their Eldritches on the board. So at that point, I felt, superior.
Yeah, it is.
And then I went on a 9-game losing streak.
Yeah, I was on a massive losing streak, and then I don't know, I just woke up and chose violence, and then suddenly I was in platinum.
Yeah, I think I was like, yeah, you just gotta believe in the heart of the cards, and you believed and you made it to Plat 5. It's crazy.
And I haven't touched it since. But
you should play the Xyz Festival because it gets you a lot of gems, and then it doesn't change your rank or anything. Right?
I honestly I don't know what I'm gonna play, what deck I'm gonna build next, because I'm like
for Xyz. Yeah, I mean obviously I built Galaxy Eyes. I mentioned it before. It's pretty similar to Blue Eyes in the aspect of big dragon beats everything. It doesn't have all of its Omni negates, but there are techs you can throw in Cyber Dragon Infinity, which negates a monster effect once a turn. And then there's there's another card in that secret pack that's you can negate a spell activation. It's Hope Harbinger Dragon or something. But yeah, the Galaxy Eyes deck that I've been using, I built it, tested it in solo, loved it, took it over to Xyz Festival, and I loved it. I don't like it when I brick, but it's pretty good regardless. I've had some people surrender, and I was that's pretty good.
I will say with Sky Strikers, I haven't had people surrender. That's with Mayakashi when I set up, they're like, screw it. But Sky Strikers, I only had a guy surrender once, and it was because he had no cards in his hand, so I assume it was just I can't do anything anyway. But yeah, it's very rare.
Surrender. Have you ever surrendered?
I've yet to surrender, but there's been times where I've wanted to, especially when it's usually just when they have, they're able to kill me now, and they just keep setting up. I think it's because of, I don't know if it's to flex or because of like you said, insurance. But But either way, I'm just sat there for like another 3 minutes, and I'm just like, dude, just attack into me. I have 500 health left.
Yeah, at that point, I just wait until maybe they misplay, or maybe on the next turn, if I do live and they mess up and leave me with 100 life points, I like draw into Raigeki or something.
Well, that's the thing is, it's like, I don't know.
Or my out.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I just don't feel like surrendering. So I'm
yeah, it's my pride is also like, I don't want to surrender.
Maybe that's what it is. I
haven't felt like I've lost yet until until my life points at 0.
I didn't hear no bell.
I was actually tempted to build Exodia. Do you know what that card does?
I think you've used it once, but I've been seeing people. Isn't it like when you get all 5 pieces, you just win the game?
Yeah.
So I've been seeing.
It's a lot easier to do in Master Duel.
I've been seeing
you pretty
videos
much just
on it.
Draw like a bunch of cards. Yeah, you keep drawing, and then you just get into all 5 pieces. It's like playing solitaire. It's so fun.
Another game I've been playing. I'll just mention this real quick because I wrote it down for some reason. But I recently started playing Mirror's Edge again. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
No.
Basically, it's a game from 2008, I think. Okay,
I remember when you had mentioned Six Samurais like came out in 2012, and you said it was not too long ago, and then I corrected you, and I was like,
that was
like a decade ago.
It's like, ow!
Emotional damage.
Black Ops 2 came out 10 years ago. Holy shit! Do I still have Black Ops 2? No, I don't. But I'm sure I still have it somewhere.
Didn't Pokemon X and Y come out in 2012, or is that 2014?
Is that what you saw right there? Pokemon Y at the very top.
Actually, I don't see it at all.
It's right there.
I see a few white boxes stacked on top of each other.
There.
Oh, did you hear that they've announced that the Nintendo eShop for 3DS and Wii U, they're going to shut down?
Yeah. So they better move Twilight Princess to the Switch, because I was going to buy that on my Wii U.
Sorry, when you said Twilight Princess, I immediately thought of My Little Pony.
What?
I think her name is like Twilight Sparkle, actually. But yeah.
I don't fucking know.
For some reason, that sounds like a My Little Pony thing.
No, it's Legend of Zelda. Oh my god. Anyway, Mirror's Edge is it's a game I want to say 2008. And it's a game that holds up incredibly well. I've been playing through it again now, 2022. The graphics are still really solid. But basically it's a game it's just a parkour game. It's a first-person parkour game, and it's really, really fun. The movement system is just mwah. I've wanted to do some videos on it or just a video on it of like speed running, because I've played the game a few times. There's combat in it, but don't bother with it. It's so fucking stupid. It's a game about running away from stuff, and it's really, really cool. Because it's like the parkour system is actually really solid.
When you say parkour, I think of the scene from The Office where what's his name? Michael Scott. He just says parkour.
Yes. Yeah,
he jumps around. Parkour.
It's pretty similar, but you can do you got your wall runs and stuff, and there's like some really cool stuff you could do. I've been playing the game again, and I've been doing the time trial stuff. So like there's some of the speed run bits, and I've been trying some speed run techniques. I am never gonna get as good as like world record people, but it's the only game that I've done some actual time trial stuff in, and it's really fun to do. I've always said that if I were to speedrun the game, I'd probably choose as Bloodborne, and I think that's still true, but Mirror's Edge is a very close second.
I cannot speedrun anything for the for anything, I guess, because I take too long on my Yu-Gi-Oh turns for one, so I'm like, okay, well, I'd probably take a while for my Pokemon turns too.
Well, I think
how fast can you win a match?
Speedrunning Bloodborne, and like I say that because I've played through Bloodborne so many times. It's like one of the few games I'm actually good at. So it's like that game I feel like I could probably speedrun. Sekiro is another game I can beat Sekiro in like 4 hours.
What the heck?
I know it doesn't sound very fast, but I can beat that game in like, I remember because my first playthrough took me 30 hours, and I played through it again. It took me 6, and I was like, all right, well, I guess I've gotten a little better.
Oh my gosh, a little bit.
But I love FromSoft games, and Elden Ring comes out next week, and I'm so fucking excited for that game. And no one's gonna hear from me for like a week because that game is I'm so excited for it. But yeah, so I feel like a gorilla.
Yeah, I heard something disconnect because it played the Windows.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, something disconnected. And whenever something disconnects or like I plug something into my USB, my webcam stops. And so when I heard that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna immediately turn to OBS and see if I'm still going. And I'm like, I look at myself and I'm just like,
I know. Like, your eyes half
like,
closed.
we got a problem. And it's good that I caught that kind of fast.
Yeah. It's one of the scariest sounds ever. There's nothing like recording and then looking over and seeing something that like. There's been a few times where I've recorded like an hour long, and I'm like, oh, that was such a fun video. And I look over and I go to click stop record, and it's like start recording, and I'm like, motherfucker. And then my day is ruined. It's so depressing. I'm recording a big video. I've been working on it for the last like 2 weeks. But I use Shadowplay, and Shadowplay is pretty good because it doesn't sacrifice like the game doesn't slow down at all while you're recording, which is nice. But the only indicator that's recording is a little tiny thing in the corner, like a little green dot, and that's the only indicator. And sometimes I'll miss that. So I was recording for like 8 minutes once, and luckily I caught it quick enough. But I was doing some stuff, and I didn't do anything major in the game. But I caught it, and I got real sad. But it could have been worse. But it's such a... There's been times where I've recorded an hour long stuff, and it's like the audio overlapped the whole time, and then it sounds super weird, and then life is pain. So, anyway.
Yeah, speaking of video making, I've been wanting to take replays going back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Man, I'm like you with My Hero Academia, which you actually haven't been mentioning.
I haven't mentioned it yet.
You haven't mentioned it yet.
I was literally just about to before the camera thing. But anyway, continue.
Yeah, I'm addicted to Yu-Gi-Oh! Like I am. So I was gonna maybe do a highlight video of like some of the matches that I've had. But I also don't want people to go on my channel and say that I'm like a scrub and that I suck at Yu-Gi-Oh! And that I should make other plays. Because if there's one thing that
I can do that for you.
It bugs me, but reasonably, it's okay for people to do this. Like, hey, you've made this mistake. You probably should have done this instead. It hurts my pride.
Oh, yeah. What was that? The first time I used Sky Strikers, I showed you, and then I got this like huge play-by-play from you. It actually really helped.
Yeah,
where is it? Yeah, here.
I like harped down on Matthew. I saw one of his replays. A lot of it was just me trashing on the other Dragon Maid player.
No, seriously, I'm reading this now, and you were like, I would have done this instead. What? This Dragon player sucks. And then you just went on this big tangent about like, but you could do this with it. So they just did that, complete waste. But
yeah.
You also know what you're talking about when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! So it's like I will say I've put like a little over, because I've put 76 hours in a Master Duel and 91 hours into Duel Links.
Wow, you're coming up on that Duel Links time.
And I don't feel like I feel like I have an understanding of Yu-Gi-Oh, but I don't feel like I could like give advice on any Yu-Gi-Oh stuff.
I think a lot of like the reason why I'm okay, right? I might be Plat 3, but if I start playing Yu-Gi-Oh in real life, I'm probably gonna suck, right? Is because the reason why I'm like okay is because I played Vanguard, I've played a few Pokemon games, like TCG, and then I used to play like Yu-Gi-Oh on like Dueling Book, back when it was called like Dueling Network. I used to play like with my friend, and so that was like back in like the Synchro era, where like that was pretty popular. So I of course I played some Yu-Gi-Oh and I've played some dueling, so I have knowledge of like playing card games. So just like kind of learning about the ins and outs of each game, how card advantage works. Like a lot of those card games are pretty similar, where it's like, yeah, if you go second, you get to draw a card, but if you go first, you don't. You know.
Well, let's say with Yu-Gi-Oh, there's no real like type advantage. At best, if you're using like Buster Blade against a Dragon deck, then
yeah,
you get
if it's
some
anything,
advantage.
if anything, it's like yeah. There actually someone said types in Yu-Gi-Oh almost don't matter. I kind of agree because most of it is like archetype-ish, and then if they so happen to have a type like say Dragon and Warrior. If they have a type that you can counter, then that's just a bonus, right? Some people use cards like Super Polymerization, which can take one of their monsters as fusion material. So that kind of screws them up. And then, you know, of course, Buster Blader, or if you had a card that turns all the cards into on the field into like another type, like Zombie World turns all cards from on the field and graveyard to a zombie. And then maybe you can, there's like a DNA surgery or DNA transplant that like changes all cards on the field to like a singular type. So cards like that could definitely help you with like type stuff, but you really don't see that kind of stuff anymore. I'm sure there's like someone out there that's trying to do that, but most of the time you take those cards out and you throw in cards that are more useful. But yeah, types aren't really too much of a thing in like Yu-Gi-Oh! In Pokemon, it's like, yes, you can deal double damage, and then if you resist a type, you receive less damage, but most of the time, your stuff is like, the Pokemon cards are weird nowadays, because they have like, they used to have like EX, now, and then they went to like GX, and then VMAX, V. I don't know, Pokemon changes their mechanics all the time, and then they have like this set rotation thing, so like, when new cards come in, old cards get out of the format, which means you're not able to use them anymore. So, I mean, that's the reason why I don't play Pokemon, is because you have to constantly keep buying cards to keep up with like the standard format. There's like an expanded one where you can use some of the older cards as well. But if you want to play standard, you have to keep buying new cards. But with each time they release new cards, they kind of shove out the old mechanics in place of like the new ones, just because of like how I guess power creep, how like stuff changes over time. So like you would think that, you know, if a Pokemon evolved a few times with like the card, then it'd be stronger, right? It's actually stronger if you just had like a basic Pokemon that was like an EX or GX or whatever VMAX thing it is now, or Team Up, whatever. Or I think it's called Tag Team actually. But yeah, because those, you just put down the one card that's like super strong, and then you just attach a bunch of energies to it. Whereas with evolution cards, like let's say you had a Oshawott, and then evolve it to Duwat, and then evolve it to Samurott. That's 3 cards just to get out your strong card. And then you have to factor in all the energies you put into it. So as far as like card advantage and card stuff goes, you understand that like this one card beats out this evolution chain, which you probably need to run like probably like 3 of like the basic Pokemon, 2 of the stage 1, and then maybe 1 or 2 of like the final evolution per se. Or you could just run like the 1 GX or EX or whatever the heck it is. There's a big difference in like that.
Is there a Master Duel like equivalent to Pokemon? Like, is there a TCG Pokemon game that's like I can play on, or I can play in, and like I don't have to spend money? I can just get cards that way.
Technically, there's Pokemon TCG Online, but it's you can look it up. They're supposed to be coming out with like another Pokemon TCG Online client, but it's not nearly as clean as Master Duel. And I don't know. You kind of have to spend money like in real life, getting like the booster packs that come with like the QR codes to then unlock more packs in the game. So that's like one free way. It's not really free because you're spending money on their like actual product, but they do provide you with like some structured decks. They're not super strong, but they get you by. And then you can also, I think, get coins, which you can use to then buy packs, which that also works, but I don't think they reward you as much as they do in like Master Duel. I also played Vanguard Zero, so I have some experience with like mobile / online card game stuff.
I was gonna get into Vanguard, and I downloaded it back when it came out, like March 2020, I want to say, or was it?
It was March? It was April. It was April in like Indonesia, Singapore. There was like there was still an English version, but it hadn't come to like North America yet. So I was able to play it with like an Android emulator, but then you have to wait like a month later for like if you're in America or Canada, you'd have to wait a little bit to play that. But yeah, the game was I was gonna play it,
but I don't know. I don't know why I never got into it. I was gonna play it, but
it was fun. It was the first and only thing that I streamed. It was super fun because I got to sit down with a bunch of people. They were, they most of the time they supported me, like, oh yeah, you could do this, or like, yeah, you're like the pull rates. Most of the time, people came into my stream to like watch me open packs, because that's like it's most exciting when you pull like the card that you really want out of a pack. Like there's so much like glory in that. I even had someone.
Continue. Sorry, continue. I was gonna say nothing.
I had someone in my stream ask me to like, this is kind of illegal, good, but they wanted me to like access their account to then like open their packs, and it was kind of cool because like everyone got to see, because I had like multiple Vanguard Zero accounts. I broke TOS for streaming purposes, just so I can be like, yeah, I'm gonna have like a 700 plus pack opening stream, because back then getting gems and stuff was stupid easy because there's this thing called farming, but of course they found a way to get rid of that, or to stop that entirely, or I guess not entirely, you could still do it, but it's not gonna be as easy. But I had so many packs and gems saved up that I was like, I can get like 700 packs opening. And then including like the one viewer who wanted me to open their packs because I had like streamer luck, which I believe is real, right? Streamer luck is real, because sometimes I like open packs out off camera and then I get doo-doo. But then when I'm on camera, I get like the absolute best luck.
I guess that is kind of true, because I opened Duel Links packs once and you were in the call and I was like, oh cool, and you're like, dude, you got another ultra rare, and I was like, oh sick. Like I didn't give a shit because it wasn't what I was looking for, but
I mean the pull rates for Duel Links is like kind of meh. At the very least Master Duel, if you don't get an ultra rare in your 10 packs, they give you a guaranteed one, which I really like. So that's cool. But yeah, I've played a lot of Vanguard Zero when it came out. I played through like, I guess what you would consider its first season. So it's like the first set of cards before the new mechanic came out. That's called Limit Break. So I played through all that, and I've made it to like pretty high tiers. Like I was within the top 1,000 players of that season. So that was pretty cool. And yeah, so that was probably the peak moment of me playing like a certain card game. But then when it got to like, the second season, I stopped playing. I put it down. I stopped streaming.
Yeah, I remember you were telling me how it just got a little boring playing the game like 7 hours a day.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun because I would like sit there and, it'd be fun hanging out with people. But then, sometimes it'd get too long. It'd be like 3 or 4 in the afternoon or something. I hadn't had anything to eat, so it kind of cut into my eating schedule too. It's kind of dangerous. But yeah, the game was really fun. So yeah, that's my credentials. I've played a bunch of card games.
Those are my credentials. Yeah, you're just like so yeah, I'm a Duel Links player. You just start like pulling out cards.
Oh man,
look at me, what a flex. Oh, what did I just slam into? That joke was not worth it. Anyway, that
yeah. So I do have some experience.
My experience is Duel Links.
You played Inscription. That's your
and I was
that's your
terrible
credentials.
at it. So
yeah.
I really don't feel like I can give advice on Yu-Gi-Oh, and that's why I haven't. I also the only person I talk to about Yu-Gi-Oh is you. So
yeah.
I obviously you don't need advice. So I
I mean, from like, of course, I'm just an amateur card gamer, whatever. So of course, I have the usual Yugi tubers or whatever YouTubers that I go to for like either net decking or like advice, and like that's how I found out about the secret packs. Right, go on YouTube and find out. Oh, there's an easier way to get cards that I want aside from just opening the master packs.
Yeah.
So if it weren't for those people, I probably wouldn't be in the situation where I have 4 or 5 decks now.
Yeah, Master Duel. It's kind of crazy because when I started Master Duel, and I've been on the same account, I spent like 20,000 gems just opening master packs. And I remember you were telling me how risky that was.
Super.
And then I didn't even know you could dismantle cards. And then you told me about that, and I was like, "Oh boy!"
Actually, if there's one upside of master packs is that there are some cards that you aren't able to get in secret packs. Like if you took a list of all the cards in every secret pack, obviously you're not going to get every single card. So like number 86 is in a secret pack. If you take Zeus for example, Zeus is probably one of the most popular Xyz monsters. And what it does is you can summon it after an Xyz monster you had battled that turn. So like let's say you had an Xyz monster battle. Your main phase 2, summon Zeus, and what it does is you can detach 2 materials and then destroy all other cards on the field. Pretty good card. It can be negated, of course, but it's a quick effect, so if they try something, you can activate it right away, and if they don't have a way to stop it, then Zeus is just the only card on the field. So that's great. So that actually you're not able to get in secret packs, and you have to get in the master pack. Same with like all the pot cards. So like Pot of Prosperity, Extravagance, Duality, those are in master packs, and then like Raigeki, I guess, or you don't even need another Raigeki. Lightning Storm, probably also in master packs. So like those cards you probably would want to, I don't know if you'd probably just craft it at that point, because you're opening from a card pool of like 10,000 whatever cards, or like 6,000.
I think it's 6,500. Yeah, so it's no, there's been plenty of times where it's like I have everything else I need, and I'm like I just need this one card. It is in a secret pack, but it's not worth opening it to get this one guy. I might as well just craft it and move on my day.
I mean, regardless of like opening or spending all your gems on master packs, you still found a way to like bounce back and like. I mean, you have Sky Strikers now. You have 6 Samurai.
I have no idea how, because I'm like I look at my decks and I'm like they're not like god tier or anything, but I'm like I have some decent.
But it's a good structure. I mean, pretty much completed my Akashi, and then 6 Samurai is pretty much completed too. Sky Strikers is mostly complete. I mean, you don't really need 3 of everything. You need that's one Kagari, and that's it.
That's where I'm at now. Is I don't know what else to add to my decks. I just need to get good.
At this point, it's just like Ash Blossom, Max C, and then staple cards.
So I'm like, I think my plan is to get to Platinum 1, and then after that, like just do it once.
Well, no, duh.
No, I meant like get to Platinum 1 once, and then after that, I don't really give a crap. And I think I'm just going to start building stuff, like forget net decking, start building stuff that like, because I've wanted to build a Norse god deck for a while, but I'm like, I know it's synchro, but I'm like, this deck could be terrible. But also just, even if it is terrible, just build it, because I'll be able to.
It looks cool. There's actually a YouTuber that's like under Team APS. One of those guys has like his own series where he gets challenged to summon a card. Most of the time it's like a bad card that has like really hard summoning conditions. So,
that like stuff like that would be fun.
Yeah, summoning challenges, they could be pretty fun.
Like no, I think that's what I would do. Is just like do things like that. Just like try and win with like I saw a video about like he tried to win with just normals and rares, or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Like things like that. I think that's what I would do after I get to Platinum 1 just once. Like try hard my ass
Just
off,
like mess around.
get to Plat 1, and then after that just dick around with the game.
I'm pretty close. I'm like 8 matches away, right? Four to get to Plat 2, and then 4 to get to Plat 1.
I will say I was getting the vibe from Sky Strikers. I think if a deck is gonna get to Platinum 1, it's gonna be Six Samurai, which is so weird to say.
Really?
It's so weird to say.
How it is?
Well, because of like it's weird because it's almost more consistent than Sky Strikers. Weirdly enough, I think Sky Strikers has more outs.
I think Sky Striker is more simple.
Absolutely, there's less that can go wrong with Sky Strikers.
Yeah, but because there's so many combos in Six Samurai, there's so much that can go wrong. You do one thing wrong, it's over.
Yeah, so it's like I don't know. I think that's probably the deck that will make it, which is so weird because I remember I was like when I got to season 2, I was like I just want Six Samurai to make it to gold, and then after that I don't care. And now I'm like I skipped Six Samurai with gold, and now I'm like, all right, I'm gonna make it to Plat 1 with Six Samurai, and if I do, then by golly.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've only been doing Dragon Maids. Like I haven't used Sky Strikers. I have another account where I have heroes. Heroes are pretty okay. They get stopped by Raigeki, but
every time you
let's
use
not get
heroes
into that argument.
every time you use heroes against me, it's kicked my ass.
Yeah, it's super. I don't think I've ever bricked with heroes. I mean, there have been times where I don't win turn 2 or turn 3, but I definitely haven't bricked yet. At least against you. Of course, the luck changes when you get into a ranked duel. For some reason, all that luck goes out the window, and then suddenly you brick like 5 games in a row.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just found that Dragon Maids are like pretty easy, consistent. You know, like they have a negate. It's not like a Herald of Ultimateness level of negate, but it's pretty decent. And that's the thing about, I guess, what you can consider rogue decks or like decks that aren't top tier, is that they kind of do almost the same thing as like what top tier decks do, just worse, you know?
Yeah.
Like Dragon Maid Shiu, she has like a one negate. It's an Omni negate. And then Herald of Ultimateness, also an Omni negate. But you can use Herald of Ultimateness as many times as you have fairy type monsters in your hand. Yeah. Shiu you can use once.
My Akashi's slightly similar. There's a few there's a couple of there's not negates, there's like destruction stuff you can do, but it depends on what you have in the field. My Akashi was fun for a little bit, but I found the setup to just be so tedious and a little boring.
Yeah. I mean you have a deck. I mean, maybe in the future they'll have like a synchro event. You know, right now it's 6E, so like when synchros come around, you could probably use my Akashi, because my Akashi is just synchro monsters, and then 4 link monsters. Yes. I say 4, it's like 2 copies of 2 of them.
And I have excess Kotaku, but that's just kind of throw them in wherever.
Yeah.
So honestly, if they do a synchro event, I might try and have a. Because there's a few
I know they didn't announce it, but someone leaked that there was like an XC synchro and fusion one.
Fusion one, I'd be screwed. I got jack shit for fusion.
I think I'd do pretty well with fusion. I mean, it's just Dragon Maid Shiu, but of course her deck isn't as strong without the Heraldic Spheres. Yeah.
That's like stuff like that is also what I mean. Like doing stuff where it's like, okay, only like no extra deck challenge, no like only use.
Okay, no extra deck is easy if you play Eldritch. Which they also banned. They banned Eldritch in Xyz Festival.
Get wrecked.
Yeah.
But yeah, things like that. I think I'd like to try after I get to Platinum 1. Like I'm not even gonna do it every year or every season. I want to do it once, and then after that, I don't care.
I mean, that's the thing, though. I mean, what if like ban lists change and then they do that? Then you kind of want to get back into it and see like, oh, can my deck still keep up with the current format?
That would be interesting, but
I know ban lists don't change that much, but especially for like a first season, they probably take what they saw in like within the first few seasons and then probably implement their ban list. again. Because obviously they're gonna add new cards, and then they're gonna change the ban list depending on what does best, and then what is too powerful.
Yeah. Sorry, I completely just tried to cut you off there. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
I was gonna say you're talking about adding cards, and I immediately jumped to my head the Sword Soul.
Oh yeah.
They add that. I'm absolutely building that. I don't give a crap if it's terrible. The cards just look so cool.
I'd be building Dinomorphia. It's another one of those like waifu type ish decks, but I love
Sword Soul is also kind of there's one waifu card in it. The rest of them aren't, but still, it just looks so cool.
Yeah. Dinosaurs, and then they don't transform, but they're kind of trap heavy, but their fusion monsters. That fusion monster looks pretty cool. It's like she's like wearing black. I don't know what her name is, but yeah, Dinomorphias look pretty cool. I wanted to build a dinosaur deck too. It's like pretty expensive though.
Just build
same
that.
with, like,
just
heroes.
build that synchro deck from Duel Links. It'll be god tier.
Which one? Oh, Jurak.
Yeah. That'll destroy, dude.
No,
I'm telling you.
I can't believe they made the Jurak Meteor. It's like I think it's a level 10 synchro monster for Jurak that like destroys all cards on the field. I can't believe they made that at ultra rare. It's either that one or Duel Links, but one of those are at ultra rare. And I'm like, I don't think it's worth an ultra rare if I'm being honest. But I might also be biased or inexperienced with like playing with Juraks. Yeah, because I only play with dragons. I love my dragons. I mean, you like your samurai.
Samurai, where it's at. I built a deck with samurai.
My Kashi has some Japanese inspired culture in it.
Yeah, I guess so. Ghost of Tsushima is like, Elden Ring has a samurai class, and I'm absolutely going with that. That looks so cool.
Oh yeah, I saw you play Ghost of Tsushima.
I don't know how to pronounce it exactly. In the game they pronounce it Tsushima, I think. But I've heard it say Tsushima, so I'm like, I don't really know.
Yeah, it's all depending on the emphasis, but yeah, I saw you play that. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
But Ghost of Tsushima is honestly, it might be one of my favorite games now. Like, it's so good. Like
best game of 2022.
Well, it's best game of 2020, or game of the year for me. It didn't win game of the year. Last of Us did, which I love. The Last of Us Part 2 wasn't as great, and that's what won game of the year. But Ghost of Tsushima though, if I played that in 2020, that would have been my game of the year. Honestly, I was thinking about this more recently, about what my game of the year for 2021 would have been, because I was like, I didn't really play that many games that came out. But I think it'd be Scarlet Nexus actually, because I didn't really play much else. I haven't played Tales of Arise yet, and that came out in 2021, so that has potential to beat it. But Scarlet Nexus, I don't know what it was. That game was really fun. I'll mention this quickly because I've been talking about it the last like 3 episodes. I finally finished Soul Eater. So I'm done with that now, and it was really good. I gave it a 9 on my anime list.
Did it finish strong?
Well, that's kind of the issue, is that like it didn't end as badly as I thought it would, considering how much people were shit talking the ending. And I got nervous because there was a part during the ending where I was like, okay, there's only like, I'm like, okay, they have to wrap this up in like 10 minutes. And it was like, I was like, I swear to God, if this ends on like a cliffhanger or something along those lines, I'm gonna be pissed. But it just ended a little plainly, I guess. But the other episodes, the rest of the series was really, really solid. And I read some stuff on like what happens in the manga, and they made a lot of deviations from it. So if it would have gotten a true adaptation, it could have been a 10 out of 10 for me. I think definitively it's tough to say if it's better than My Hero Academia. It definitely is giving it some competition, but some areas where it's a little unfair is that Soul Eater is complete, so I can look at the whole package and be like, no, this is how good it is. My Hero
Yeah.
Academia is still ongoing. I think the biggest reason was, like I said this last time, was just I was enjoying the hell out of Soul Eater, and the manga for My Hero Academia was just kind of like for a little while. It's starting to pick back up, but it's still a little like underwhelming for me. But I don't know. Depending on how My Hero Academia ends, I guess will determine if it remains my number one favorite.
What's another show you're thinking of watching?
Well, the next on my list, because I watched through Grimgar, Ashes and Illusions as well. It's a short series, but it was pretty solid. The Rising Shield Hero is next on my list. That I was gonna check out. I watched the first like 3 minutes of episode 1, and then I turned it off for some reason. But I'm gonna watch that, and then watching Demons is over now, but the dub starts next week. Now the dub starts Sunday actually. So I'll probably rewatch Demon Slayer again. Honestly,
I think it's worth a watch.
Just watch it
like a rewatch, because it's not a long second season, right? It's like what 12, 13 episodes.
11.
11.
Yeah,
even better.
But episode 1 is 40 minutes. Episode 11's 30.
Fair.
The biggest thing I'm curious about is just to see how they handle the dub, because I'm like, there's a lot of moments in it that I'm like, I gotta be honest, I can't really see Tanjiro's English voice actor.
Is this the first time you're rewatching something? Like you watched it first time in Japanese and the second time in English? Is it the first time that's happening? Or have you done that with another show? Maybe like Sword Art Online or My Hero?
Well, I haven't rewatched SAO actually. So I've watched the final season in Japanese because the dub wasn't out, but now it is. I will say I looked up like one of the like hype moments from SAO because like it sounds so fucking good in Japanese, and I was like, okay, I'm curious what the dub sounds like, and I gotta be honest, the dub, it sounds kind of weird. Because I've watched the clip so many times in Japanese, and I'm just like, man, that sounds sick as hell. I will say the final season of SAO actually wasn't bad. There was still a lot of things in it. There's some fan servicey bits that were just like, Jesus Christ, but it was a little bit better.
Yeah. Kay had mentioned to me, like, the reason why the dub kind of feels weird at sometimes is because the voice actors or I guess the script is trying to fit like the movements of the mouth and stuff.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's hard to get out something that works, you know? Because you can't just directly translate it and then have it fit, you know? Otherwise, you're going to have the mouth, like just the mouth open, but then they're talking like an entire sentence, you know?
Yeah, like My Hero Academia, there's some scenes that I think sound better. Or I think the words, I guess, like minor spoilers, I guess, for season 3 of My Hero Academia, but Bakugo in the Japanese version, he says something along the lines of like, why, or I'm the reason that All Might had to retire, or something along those lines, or he's the reason All Might's gone, something like that. And then I think in the English version, it wasn't quite the same. It
wasn't as like dramatic, right?
Yeah, is what I'm trying to say. So I still prefer the dub for My Hero Academia.
That's fair.
But when season 6 starts airing, I'm probably just gonna watch it as it comes out. Season 6,
because you can't really wait.
I'm very excited
for stuff like that. You can't really wait. Yeah.
It's because again, it's gonna be. I'm really curious to see how they adapt it. Because season 6 is definitely, or at least the manga is definitely the one that's the most fresh in my mind. Because I've reread that like 3 times now. I have a physical version of the start of it, so I've reread it a few times. But it's gonna be nuts. Because the nice thing is that where they ended season 5, the action for season 6 picks up. Like by episode 2, it's gonna be like crazy shit. Unless they do like an anime original episode where it's like, hey, let's just hang out and like eat chips or something. I don't know why they would do that, but if they do something
I think
like
they've done that before, right?
No, they've done
it
like season 5 was like a training episode. Season 4 was like the photographer guy came out and was like interviewing the class. So things like that. But season 6, I don't think they need to do an anime original. I think they should just jump right into it and go.
Yeah,
because they have so much to cover. So because like again the main arc that season 6 is going to be focused on is it's I think it's like 10 or 20 chapters longer than the overhaul arc, and that was like 13 episodes.
Oh yeah.
So it'll be like 15 or 16 is probably going to be, and then the rest of it is going to be my favorite arc, and I really hope they animate it properly, but I also am not that stingy about it. But anyway, so
yeah, that's when does that come out? Is it later this year?
I think it's October, they said.
October sounds about right. There's one show that I'm like that actually came out today, the Cuphead Show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I talked about this with you like right before we started the recording, but like I remember like when my friend was talking to me about, you know, this game called Cuphead that was going to come out. I was still in high school. I was like either a freshman or sophomore in high school. And then my friend, he was telling me about, you know, this game. It like looks really cool. It looks really clean. It looks like straight out of a TV show or like a comic book, you know. And he showed me the trailer for it. And I was like, yeah, this doesn't even look like a game anymore. It just looks like part of a show because like the graphics look so detailed. And then the game had like come out. It was like in development for like a really long time, and then it came out, right? And then, you know, recently Kay, my girlfriend, she had gotten the digital version of Cuphead on her Switch. So over Valentine's Day weekend, we had sat down, we tried to play a little bit of Cuphead. It's so hard. I mean, yes, you could argue you could practice a little bit more and then get better. But if there's a second person, you kind of have to. It's not like carrying them on like your shoulders or anything. It's just when they die, you feel obligatory to save them. Yeah, but then when you do, you get hit by something and then you die as well.
I haven't played it with another person yet. I haven't beaten Cuphead actually, but I've gotten to the final boss. Well, it's weird because I can do the first area now in like 20 minutes, like the entire first island. Like starting a new game to beating the flower guy, I can do that in like 20 minutes.
What, dude? We're stuck on the frog one, and then also the constellation one, and that's still on the first island, right?
The one in the airplane.
Yeah.
Yeah, the frog one, I will say, is actually pretty tough because I'm terrible at dodging the stuff in the third phase.
That's the one with the slot machine one.
Yeah, that I am pretty bad at dodging that stuff.
That's so hard. That's where we get stuck.
If I had Cuphead installed, I would after this I'd share my screen and crush these frogs. But it's I don't know, but like the second area, I'm just not great with like the clown guy. So there's some stuff that I definitely struggle with. I find the third area to actually be decently easy. There's like 2 bosses that are like weirdly simple, but Cuphead is very difficult. I don't know what it is. I'm just so gravitated towards difficult games. I love the Souls series and Souls like Bloodborne is probably, I think it's my favorite game ever. I find myself now, like, even on a first playthrough, I'll crank the difficulty up a little bit more, even if it's a game I've never played, just because I'm like, I don't know what it is. I think I'm crazy. Maybe I'm just a masochist, but like difficult games, I don't know, there's just something about like overcoming that and then feeling like a god is
that makes sense.
Great.
Makes sense. That's why what I really liked about Pokemon Black and White 2 was that they had like a challenge mode where, you know, I think they had either levels boosted or the AI was just a little bit better, one of those.
Wasn't it a bit of both? Like they had more Pokemon and things like that?
Yeah, I didn't play the challenge mode, and I wish I could. I don't have a copy of the game anymore. Actually, I could just emulate it. I don't know what I'm saying.
I mean,
But
what? No, it's totally authentic DS.
but yeah, the Pokemon Black and White 2, just like the entire 5th gen series, probably still my favorite generation of Pokemon. If you don't include like Legends Arceus in a generation.
I think Black and White. It's tough. I really like Black and White. Soul Silver is still my favorite Pokemon game, so I guess it's. I never know what to say if Gen 4 is my favorite or Gen 2 is my favorite. I usually say Gen 4 because that's where Heart Gold Soul Silver is from.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I would say Generation 4 of Pokemon games, and then Generation 2 like the regions. Probably that makes the most sense to me.
Like the Pokemon, like following you around is awesome. Houndoom's my favorite Pokemon, and he came from Gen 2. I will say it's so stupid that you can't get him till Kanto, and he's like level 5.
Yeah,
still really hard to get, and by that point, your team is already
jacked.
Built. So it's like it's stupid.
Speaking of Pokemon games, I have been playing Legends Arceus, same as like everyone else in the world, and like it's so fun, right? It's so hard to put down, which is kind of dangerous. And then also like it's when you pick it back up, or at least when I pick it back up, it doesn't feel like boring anymore, because I tried playing Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, right? I'm still pretty early. I had barely beaten the second gym, went down the bike path to like I'm like literally right after the bike thing where you cross the bridge. And I put the game down, and then, after a week I picked it up again, between shiny hunting for Chimchar and stuff. I picked it back up, and I just couldn't play it anymore. I didn't know what I was doing at that point. I was like, obviously you progress, right? But then I was like, I don't know what's going on. It's not really too interesting anymore. I don't know where I'm supposed to be going. It's just Legends Arceus has like a bigger appeal to me now.
Yeah.
Where if I like pick up the game, I'm like, okay, I can explore this, and it doesn't feel like I'm backtracking, right? Because of all the Pokedex entries and all the catch this Pokemon 50 times, or like watch it use this move this many times, right? There's still a reward for like backtracking or like exploring an area again. And then at that point you just find something else that you can do,
yes,
like some other thing. Because I've been trying to collect Hisuian forms, so I've gotten like the Scyther's evolution. I don't know what that name is. The Ursaluna. I've gotten Arcanine's Hisuian form. That one's pretty sick. I have Gudra Hisuian form, which I didn't realize was Hisuian form until I saw the typing. I was like, I did not know it was a steel type. Spoilers. Sorry. But yeah, I've been going around like seeing, okay, what Hisuian Pokemon can I catch and evolve, just so I can see it. I've been throwing those on my team. Yeah, I'm gonna have like a whole team of Hisuian Pokemon, maybe in like a Luxray, because I can't think of any electric type Hisuian Pokemon. But yeah, that's like the team I'd want to have moving forward. I'm still not even past like the 4th trial yet. I've only done 3 out of the 5 Lords.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say with Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, I got to the 7th gym and I haven't touched it since.
It's just so hard to pick back up.
Well, it's not even that. I just haven't like thought about it really all that much.
Yeah. It really got outshined by Legends Arceus.
Yeah. I think it was just because like
people just wanted a remake. If you like Brilliant Diamond, or if you like Diamond and Pearl and you wanted to play it again, but
yeah,
in better
it's
graphics.
Nice to have it on the Switch. But I will say I've been kind of tempted to look at getting a Pro controller, because I don't know, the Joy-Cons feel kind of weird in my hands now. Like I have my Switch here so I can show you. It's like this thing is tiny. Like, this thing is
Yeah.
so small. It
Yeah.
is like, and then this.
Do you not connect it to the controller
like?
part?
No, I do, but even that is still tiny. Like, this is a PS4 controller. It's friggin' tiny. I guess it's actually.
It looks
but
the
still,
same.
It's maybe I just got weird hands, but it's friggin'.
It does feel weird sometimes trying
It
to
is
use
minuscule, and then with this thing, it's just I don't know. It feels so weird.
it. That looks small in your hands.
Like this thing is so tiny, and I do have slightly large hands, but still.
I guess another
just,
thing too is like, you know, game consoles. You also got to think about kids, but also kids probably play with PlayStations anyways. So
well, I guess
there's probably
I got my PlayStation when I was a kid. I got it like 8 years ago.
yeah. I mean, you never hear a
2013.
kid complain about how big a controller is. Most of the time, it's like, you know, people complain about how small a controller is.
Oh my
which
God,
makes
was I-
sense.
I was 10 years old when I got a PS4.
Stop. We're not going to talk about how old we are.
At this rate, we're going to be doing the podcast in the nursing home.
When you were 10, 8 years ago? I think I was still in I was like a freshman in high school.
What?
Yeah, because I was 14 when I was a freshman, and then I was 17 when I graduated. And then
There's
that
no
summer
way.
I turned 18. 8 years ago?
I guess there's a 3-year difference between us.
Yeah.
That's weird. That's so weird.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I was in elementary school while you were in high school.
I think I was barely starting high school. You would have been getting out of elementary school.
Yeah,
That is weird.
That's nuts.
Holy. I
I
I
will
don't like
say
this anymore.
I have changed a lot since we first met.
Oh yeah.
I think you've changed a little bit, but you
You were like off the walls, like a little ball of bouncing around everywhere. I was just putting up with you.
I honestly I'm like I look back and it's like, why the fuck did you hang out with me? Because I'm like I still do it now to an extent, but I remember like every call we would end and I'd be like, hey, are you mad at me? And you're like, what? No. And I'm like, are you sure? And you're like, I'm gonna be mad at you if you keep fucking asking. I'm like, okay.
Oh my gosh.
But I was just like, it was just a lot of it was just insecurities, but still, it's just like, I was so fucking obnoxious. I'm not saying I'm a saint now. But
I do think I do think like it's gotten better, you know. I mean, obviously you don't ask if like I'm mad at you or anymore, but I also don't I'm also like not super silent anymore, you know what I mean? Like I definitely talk more than I did back then.
Yeah, I've settled down now. Definitely I still get a little rowdy in some videos. But I like when I watch my old videos and I do my intro, I cannot keep up anymore. It is crazy. I do my intro and I keep a certain level of like voice and I just keep going and going and going. I'm like, do I not like run out of breath or anything? Like I just like, how am I able to talk at such a level?
It's the YouTuber syndrome.
Yeah, I'm like, how am I able to just keep up with that? Like it's nuts. And like I used to just talk for like an hour straight, like only pausing to like breathe maybe.
Take a drink of water,
if even. And it was because I would just talk about like literally anything. Most of it was nothing. But it was definitely something that like hurt me when I did like collaborative stuff because I didn't know when to shut the hell up. Even now, during the podcast, there's been some times where I'll talk for too long. But I don't know. It's weird because I mean,
it's definitely improved since.
I can't
since
imagine doing this podcast when we first met. I feel like it would have been.
It would have been terrible.
It would have been 2 hours of me talking and you maybe being like, sure, that's cool, yeah. And then, all right, thanks for hanging out, guys. I'll see you later. And it was like, but I also used to record like 5 videos a day with that consistent energy level, and I'm like, how the
Oh
fuck
my
did I ever pull that
gosh.
off?
Jesus.
Like it was nuts.
I know,
Because-
like I'm on like my hiatus, and then also you've kind of slowed down your videos. But I mean, at the like, I still can't believe that you're able to like put out that many videos. Like you used to do 2 videos a day, like what 5, 7, 6 days a week.
No, I was doing 2 videos a day. Yeah, pretty much. It was.
Jesus.
I think in February I
the
uploaded.
my the most I would do would be like 1 a day.
Yeah.
Or like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I had like that sort of schedule.
Yeah. I don't think I could ever do twice a day now. But also my stuff just suffered a lot when I did twice a day. It just, the videos weren't any good. But now I'm just like, I'll make videos when I want to, kind of thing. That sounds weird, but I don't know. Anyway, it's nice to reflect every once in a while.
Yeah.
But it's also like, I don't know what the term, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. It's just weird to look back, because not even that long ago, like a simple like 3 or 4 years ago, I was a completely different person. But also, I guess it's just fucking puberty, man.
Yeah, apparently I curse now.
I went through puberty. Oh my god, I documented puberty basically.
I've said 3 swear words in front of Matthew now in the last 4 years.
That's nuts.
That's nuts.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, feel free to keep going. Don't. I swear probably too much. Definitely too much.
I will not swear to swear more. Anyways, this has been the Shūmatsu podcast.
It has.
Man, I think I've talked. This is probably the most I've ever talked in a podcast. And all I did was talk about Yu-Gi-Oh!
Only took 11 episodes. So, hey.
I was also going to mention, like, taking a step back from making videos just to play games is definitely relaxing, you know, because I don't have to think about making a video. I can just enjoy it on my own.
Yeah.
I think being in front of a camera, playing the game, kind of brought it down a little bit. Maybe I would have enjoyed some more games better without it. I also can't sit down and play a Pokemon game, like, casually anymore.
Yeah.
The vibes are different, but, I mean, who knows? Maybe that'll change.
I struggled with not recording something, because I'm like, oh, I'm missing out on so much content, because I would upload like once or twice a day. So it was like, everything I did, I had to be recording it.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, if I still wanted to do some Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel videos, I save the replays, I screen record them, because every time they do an update, every time they have maintenance, they delete all the replays. I don't know if you know that. Yeah. So I screen record them because I knew, like, oh, they're probably going to delete all the replays, and then I have them. It's not going to be as clean as like the original file, or you're not going to be able to pause and see all the effects of each card, but at the very least you can see footage of it. So that's nice in that sort of sense.
Plus, you could edit in the card effect if you need to, or like the card to reference it.
At the very least. But
don't remember what I was gonna say. I was gonna say some kind of nonsense.
I was gonna say I'm definitely gonna be playing some more Yu-Gi-Oh! After this.
I might. I don't know. We'll see.
Matthew will be joining me. I will be forcing Matthew to join me. Yeah.
Get ready to get crushed by 6 Samurai. And
I still can't believe that the same guy 2 months ago who played, just barely thought that White Stone of Ancients was like the best card ever.
The greatest play ever was White Stone of Ancients.
Now plays with, he thought that setting White Stone of Ancients down face down was the best play ever. Now he thinks that like Sky Strikers, Rongo, building that unbreakable board, you can do all that now.
All in 2 months. And
Too
you can be
much.
like me too. Subscribe to the channel and we'll talk about more Yu-Gi-Oh! Is this a Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast now? We talked it like 4 times in a row.
I can't stop talking about it.
I guess we did start just before I started playing it, and then rest is history. So anyway, I'm just about out of water and my throat's starting to feel it. So
all right, this has been the Shūmatsu podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we see you guys hopefully next week, unless I have some stuff going on. Hence why we didn't have an episode last week.
Or if I can pull myself away from Elden Ring long enough.
Oh yeah, we'll be busy playing games. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
Bye.